Alright, so in the last couple of these how we should adapt videos, we've hit on some of my favorite Wheel of Time characters, but a couple questions have been asked about these how we should adapt videos, and I'd like to provide answers. 1. Will they always be Wheel of Time? No. As other adaptations come further down the road and the process of making these how they should adapt becomes a bit more defined, because each one has been a bit of a different focus depending on the character, and I want to kind of keep that going. So as I get better at this, I'll be opening it up to more series, more ones that are being adapted, more ones I want to see adapted. So this is an exclusive Wheel of Time series for now, but it certainly is planned to and should evolve into opening up to more. And the final thing is, I've had a couple people point out, Daniel, you're assuming they're not going to change up the character like many adaptations do. You're absolutely right. I am assuming that. And I will go ahead and agree that some characters for adaptations should be changed in fairly drastic ways. But there is no reason, in my mind, that the trickster of Wheel of Time, Mat Cauthon, should be changed that drastically. I've seen a few people throw things out for adapting Mat, someone with great comedic timing, and obviously, yes, don't go with someone with bad comedic timing, please. I've heard a couple people say you need to get someone who is able to be charming, but also kind of goofy and dorky. And I agree with that as well. But the thing with Mat that I think some people get wrong, and this is the one where I think there'll be some derision in the comments section, and I'm looking forward to seeing what people have to say. I've heard some people say you need someone who can be charming and egotistical. I don't find Mat that egotistical. In fact, I think a large part of Mat's arc is people seeing him as great, people seeing him as someone who maybe deserves to have an ego, but him still not fully realizing his potential and thinking less of himself than exactly he is. Because in this how they should adapt video, we're going to be focusing on what Mat is versus how people perceive him. Because for the adaptation, that will be crucial into communicating to the viewers effectively to properly grab who exactly Mat is in my mind. Without question, there is a bit of a disconnect between the two. And for the first half of this video, we are going to focus on how others perceive Mat. This will be a spoiler-filled video, as all these character adaptations are, so if you haven't finished the books, proceed at your own caution. There will be some pretty heavy spoilers here, although I'll try to avoid very specific, heavy end-of-series spoilers. And if you haven't read Wheel of Time at all, I guess this might be a way to convince you to start, because Mat's a pretty interesting character to describe. Jumping straight into how others perceive Mat. This, of course, varies person to person. How the main women view Mat versus how the soldiers who serve under him view him versus how his buddies Rand and Perrin view him are all very different. On a pure surface level list of accomplishments, this is what this man's reputation is. Mat's remarkable in a lot of ways. Some could label him a Mary Sue. I think it's almost a deliberate Mary Sue, a parody, a poking at the Mary Sue character type. Mat's power or magic within this world is flat out luck, plot armor. His plot armor is written into the story in a way where it is directly communicated with the reader. He survives this because luck, and that is what he's able to do. Neat. And I've described this to many people who haven't read The Wheel of Time, and their reaction is always, boy, that's unpleasant, or they don't like that, it sounds terrible to read. And on paper, it really does, but the execution of this power, I guess is the way to describe it, mixed with Mat's personality is what makes this work, and it would not work without the blending of the two. But let's get back to focusing on his basically bullet point list of achievements, character traits that your average surface level examination will reveal, how others would perceive him. He's the best battle commander the Wheel of Time has. Full stop, no debate. He's got that. To the point where great captains can orchestrate a battle plan over a span of days. Mat can come in, look at the map for a matter of a couple of minutes, and make some slight tweaks to make it even better. He's just that good. This is not earned, it's not something that he grows into, it's handed to him on a silver platter. He does somewhat earn his luck, but again, that's debatable. His whole character revolves around someone who's given so much, and the list of achievements build on top of that. Winning multiple battles against Aiel, Shadowspawn, some of the best fighters out there. Killing Couladin, Rand's greatest enemy for a large part of the series. Taking on the Shadow's strongest Shadowspawn in the Golem and winning through clever outsmarting. And leading the most successful band of soldiers in existence in the world. He seems almost annoying to read, right? That seems like it would just be obnoxious. And that's the Matt they need to capture in the show in some ways. He's a bit obnoxious. When things are not following Matt's point of view, when we're following Matt from the outside, from a position of not understanding who he is, I believe in the script, in the show, from what is shown to us, he should be shown as someone who is a bit cocky, a big talker, someone who's willing to talk themselves up and go all in when the odds are stacked against them. Supreme confidence, because Matt does have that. But once we're in Matt's boots, once we're following his shoes, and now we transition into understanding the actual person of Matt, it's never really about that. Matt doesn't want to throw himself into a battle where the odds are stacked against him. Matt doesn't want the powers he's been given for a large portion of the series. He doesn't want to lead men in the battle, and he's terrified. The reason he ends up in these situations, and the real driving character trait behind Matt, is love and loyalty to those around him. He comes across selfish because on paper he seems to behave in a glory-seeking, money-gambling, women style. But in actuality, he's a scared farm kid for a large portion of the series who denies being a noble even though he's been given armies, wealth, and prestige beyond most even lords can imagine. While Perrin and Rand largely do evolve and go beyond who they initially start as, there's a larger chunk of the original Matt in the character all the way to the end, because that's who he is. He's this farm boy who's in the fight, not for the light necessarily, not for fame and prestige, though he will enjoy those things because he is still that young farm boy. He's in this fight because he can never let those he loves fall victim to this war. If you look at Matt's motivations for every single time he puts himself in danger, it is never for prestige seeking, ego, wealth, nothing. It is about protecting himself at least, or more common, it's about protecting those around him that he loves and cares about. He is one of the most passion-driven characters in the entire Wheel of Time, passion for others, that is displayed through small and big scenes, whether it's the rather large scene of breaking into the strongest, most well-built fortress in all of the Wheel of Time to rescue a couple of his friends, even though no one has asked him to do so, or it's just pulling a bunch of gold and silver out of his pocket and giving it to a crying homeless woman and her child, because that's who Matt is at his core. He may behave with a large bravado because he's kind of just a prankster kid, and that's going to be with him to the end. But for the adaptation, for the TV show, for the script, for the actor, it's very important for that to all be a facade, or not really who he is at his core, because the real moments with Matt, the moments where his true character and end game are revealed to the reader, are all about that. I know there are some people who come into these how they adapt videos and want me to talk about physical description or athleticism or, you know, certain physical traits that the actor must portray beautifully, but as I've said a million times before in this channel, I don't care about the physical appearance of the actor all that much. When it comes to race, height, I don't care. And if you do, great. Awesome for you. I choose not to because I'm tired of bad acting. And for Matt, you could get a good actor who could capture the character fine. But I think there is a legitimate layer of difficulty to accurately portraying Matt's layered motivations hidden under this facade of egotistical, money squandering, womanizing guy that he genuinely not is, that conveying to the audience at the right times will be extraordinarily difficult. So if they get someone who's too tall, doesn't have the same skin color, doesn't have the same eye color, hair color, I don't care. What I do care about is they understand Matt as a character to his core. And there is that final question that I talked about at the beginning. Do they need to adapt Matt Page accurately? When it comes to the actual character outside of physical appearance, I think yes. I think if you lose the heart of who Matt is to this series in some odd mistranslation happening with the writing or the acting, what have you, if you just portray him as a shallow, douchey, womanizing egotist, then all of a sudden his more Mary Sue aspects of being handed this written-in plot armor will entirely not land with the audience, because suddenly it does just feel like he's a It does just feel like he hasn't earned these things. The reason I feel like these more handed to him powers and abilities Matt has don't bother many readers is because how genuine of a person he truly is, how nice of a guy Matt insists on being, especially when it comes down to the wire. He's the kind of person who will make the sacrifice call. He will throw himself on the spear. He's willing to put his neck on the block for just about anyone else who he knows is a good person. And having that well written and layered into a character who, upon a shallow examination, like we previously talked about, is obnoxious as is a beautiful, wonderful thing. Anyway, that is just my take on how you should adapt Mat Cauthon. This was the winner of the Twitter poll I put out of which Wheel of Time video should I do next. I was very happy to see that because I've been wanting to make this one for a while. Let me know which character, Wheel of Time or not, I should do next in the comments down below. Like and subscribe if you have not already. And hit the Patreon if you want to support what I do here. And have a good one, y'all. Peace! I want to record a special shout out to my latest high tier Patreons, Cynthia Long and Jim and Mord. I appreciate it, guys. The Patreon just keeps growing, and there will be more short stories posted in the future because you guys clearly liked getting that one so much. I don't think I'll ever do ones that are canon, actual, like these are the book short stories, but I'll be doing ones that take place in the same world for sure in the future. So keep looking forward to that. I hope you guys are having a great one. See you.